Hi, my name is Manthi Nguyen, and I'm based here in Menlo Park. And I've been an angel investor for quite a number of years. And it's an interesting journey to get here because I started out as an engineer. And I worked for a series of startups and gone through the up and down of fundraising in startup and gone through different stages and a few successful acquisitions, a few not so successful acquisitions. And so eventually, through the process, I learned a lot about the technical side, the business side. What does it take to take a technical knowledge, an idea, and go through the whole process of building a business around that, and how that business go from a seed into a sapling, into a tree, and eventually exit. So it's a lot of trial and tribulations, and the journey of that is very much about people and relationships. So as I went through a stage where I changed career. I retired from high tech, had my daughter, and run various small businesses. And then I decided I want to go back into tech, and with a commitment to family, I prefer to do that through angel investing. So I become an active angel investor by joining a bunch of angel groups. So I belong to 3 angel groups, one of the very few, and some say that it's pretty crazy to do that. So I have Band of Angels, Sandhill Angels, and Zero Angels, and each one of them is different in their personality, their mode of operation, their mojo, and so on. And I find that I learn a lot from each one of them. The most important thing for someone to start out in angel investing is to know that it is a long-term commitment. It is a very long-term commitment, and that once you invest in the company, you don't get out until the company exits, whether successfully or unsuccessfully. So a lot of people, especially nowadays, there is this infatuation, and it's all about up and rosy. You know, the people invest in Google, they make 1,000x or 10,000x. But you know, Google is Google because it's really rare, okay? And Facebook is Facebook because it's really rare. So once you make an investment, you know, you in until there is an exit. And it's very, very different than investing in the public market. So you have to invest with the expectation it is a very long-term commitment, and that you will need to put in additional money after your initial money, and it's going to be 1 year, could be 5 years, could be 10 years to exit. And the average time to exit for a startup is about 7 years. So it has to be a long-term commitment. A lot of people don't think about that, and they get very excited when they get into angel investing. And they put a lot of money in the beginning, whole bunch of companies, like a kid in a candy store. And then after that, you know, the exit doesn't come fast enough. And then asset allocation, they don't have more money to put into opportunity to become more interesting after they learn more about the process and how to evaluate a good deal, how to evaluate an opportunity, how long realistically it would take to go to market, what kind of realistic resources would the company need, what kind of support in terms of emotional capital, mental capital that entrepreneur would need to get to the next step of funding. And so there's a lot in the learning process.
Besides the investment that you make, how else do you try to add value to the founder?
I think I would look at that differently. When I think of an angel investors, I think of 3 main components. There is the financial capital, there is emotional capital, and there is the intellectual capital. The financial capital, it turned out to be the least of it. Most of the time when you think about angel investing, you think about the financial capital. Can I write a check? But for the entrepreneur, you need a lot more than that. You can write a check, but it doesn't mean you know how to advise. You can write a check, but it doesn't mean you have the domain knowledge or the business knowledge to advise. And if you have the check and domain knowledge and business knowledge, it doesn't mean you have the emotional capital, which is a desire to help, the willingness to help, right? And it takes all 3 of those components to make a good angel investor that could really help the company move forward. And a lot of times, when you look at a fresh entrepreneur doing his first startup or her first startup, there's a lot of that require all those components. And you have to have the willingness to put your credibility on the line as an angel investor to help them making introduction to other angel investors for you know, those 3 elements: financial capital, emotional capital, and intellectual capital. And you have to be able to help them tune their messages, tune their business strategy in order to get them from one stage to the next stage, one investor meeting to the next investor meeting. And it requires a lot of commitment.
What makes you excited about investing in companies at this stage?
I think that I love the startup world, the entrepreneur world, because you deal with people who are mostly optimistic. right? But these are optimists, the ultimate optimists, right? They have to look at the challenge and they think that I can do it. None of them are the people who sit around and complain and whine about life. So I like that aspect of it, the can-do attitude, and the ability to break a big problem into small problems, into solvable things, into milestone that is achievable within the resources they have. And it's also because I feel it's a big driver of economic development, job creation, wealth creation, and if you look at the movement of the middle class, I think it's very essential for that.